Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these? Yes, Master, you know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my lambs. He then asked a second time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Yes, Master, you know I love you. Jesus said, shepherd my sheep. Then he said it a third time, Simon, son of John, do you love me? Peter was upset that he had asked for the third time, do you love me? So he answered, Master, you know everything there is to know. You've got to know that I love you. Jesus said, feed my sheep. So upon arriving home, I decided to try something that I normally didn't do. I got out my Bible and read those verses over and over. And then I prayed and I prayed. I'll admit, I wasn't really sure what to expect out of it, but a couple weeks passed, and somehow I knew that Jesus was calling me to feed his sheep. I was being called to ministry, and I was being called to be a pastor. Now, those verses have stuck with me ever since that weekend, and God has a purpose for those scriptures in my life. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are wondering how a 16-year-old girl like me could still be so confident about my calling 3 years later. Well, that's where the verses come in. Through the scriptures, our Lord calls us to feed his sheep, and he doesn't only call us once. I'm only human. Sometimes I doubt, sometimes I'm afraid. What if this doesn't work out for me? Is this where God really wants me? Well, every so often when I'm feeling like this, I need a reminder, and as God would have it, I always seem to receive a little message from him putting me back on track. Somehow, my verses from John chapter 21 are always put in my path in some way, shape, or form. Funny enough, at LYO Assembly 2 years ago, I decided to apply for the position of chaplain. I wasn't sure if that's where God really wanted me, but I decided to give it a shot anyways. I asked Tammy Jones West for an application and began to fill it out. I got to a section where I was supposed to write about my faith journey, and boy, was I stumped. I had no idea where to start. So I did what all good procrastinators do, and I got on Facebook. After I signed on, I noticed that I had a message from the group Daily Devotions. I opened it up, and the first thing I read is John chapter 21, verses 15 through 19. And I couldn't believe it. I felt the familiar sensation from years ago coming back to me, and I knew this was where God wanted me. God knows that we're not perfect, and he knows that we get lost, but our Lord is always there to put his children back on track. I mean, hello, he even left us a manual to help us get by. Through this manual of the Bible, we can listen to God and hear what he wants of us. One of my favorite parts of John chapter 21 is the part where Jesus asks Peter not once, not twice, but 3 times if Peter loves him. And it even says that Peter's getting frustrated by the fact that Jesus has to ask him 3 times before he's content. And each time after he asked, Jesus would say, feed my sheep. It was Jesus' way of letting Peter know what he was calling him to do. If we rewind some, it was not that long ago that Peter was like us, doubting, confused. He even denied Jesus 3 times. Well, I think the reason behind Jesus asking Peter 3 times is so that Peter really knows what Jesus wants. Jesus is reminding Peter, restoring him to what he first knew. And Jesus isn't going to beat around the bush. He's getting straight to the point. He doesn't want Peter to forget or to doubt. And although at the time Peter's frustrated, I'm sure in the long run he was grateful. And I don't know about you, but when God's calling me, I don't want to hear it just once, or even 3 times. I can always use a helpful hint from God so that I go where he wants me to go. And he does that with the Bible. We just have to be listening. So go to the Bible. Its intended purpose is for us to know the word of the Lord and keep it in our hearts, to never forget what God calls us to do, to never forget to feed his sheep. God calls everyone to this responsibility for his children. And whether that means being a ballerina, a marine biologist, a photographer, or a pastor, we all have our callings. We just need to know where to look.